I come from a state that raises corn and cotton and cockleburs and Democrats, and frothy the eloquence neither convinces nor satisfies me. I am from Missouri. You have got to show me. Those were the words of Congressman Vandiver from an 1899 speech in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Congressman Vandiver was from Cape Girardeau County in Missouri. We are in the Missouri in estuary in a capture the base match, and we are top tier. That's where the phrase the show me state comes from. People from Missouri need to see proof. And today I'm going to show you proof that we can get a Kraken in the USS Missouri. What can we say about the USS Missouri that you don't already know? It is probably the most famous battleship in existence, I'll say, in the world today. Obviously, Instrument of Surrender for World War II was signed on its deck. They have the table commemorating that surrender. If you zoom in on the ship model, it took part in World War II, the Korean War, and the Gulf War. It now serves as a museum ship in Pearl Harbor, standing guard over the USS Arizona wreck and museum. It's hard for me to talk about the Missouri without getting emotionally involved. But that being said, it's probably the most revered existing American ship, but it is not the most revered ship, in my opinion, simply because the Enterprise is the most decorated U.S. warship of World War II. That being said, the Enterprise was scrapped long ago, like 64 years ago, maybe, something like that, over 60 years ago. So there are millions of people who have no idea what the Enterprise was or what it was about because they haven't been to see it. It's not in any movies or anything like that. So I'll just say this is the greatest existing American ship. I'll say the greatest American ship of all time is the Enterprise as of right now, due to its battle record of World War II. Old Ironsides, don't get me wrong, been there, really love the ship. But I don't think that ship is as great as either of the two ships I was just talking about. All right, so the Missouri's an Iowa-class battleship. It's got some small changes. The big change that you see right now, it has radar. I activated radar because I was spotted and I thought there might be a destroyer near me, and I did not want to get torped right out of the box. That thankfully did not happen. We are on the left side of the map, but we're edging towards the middle. You know, if somebody asked me to give my unvarnished opinion of Iowa-class battleships, I would say they're quick, but they're not fast. They've got good guns, but they're not great guns. They're largely accurate, except for that one stray shell going off into the middle of nowhere. The shells hit hard enough. They've got great AA. They've got okay maneuverability. But their armor scheme is not that great. That being said, when we go into the armor viewer, we are going to see a lot of things we like about the armor of Missouri. And right now, I like that by moving into the middle here, and by the enemy team not really coming to this side of the map at all, I can push with impunity into the middle and use that to dominate the battle space. And so that's kind of what this game is all about in a battleship. If you can move to a protected position and use that position to control the map and dominate your enemies, that's what we're going to try to do here today in the Missouri. Shooting at the Charles Martel very far away. He does not drive compliantly under that salvo. Close, but no cigar. Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, everybody. And I don't see any pins anywhere around here. By the way, I know in movies they like to show people pulling the pin out of the hand grenade with their teeth. Let me tell you, I tried that once. It is a great way to lose teeth. Not that I lost any, but yeah, it's not like that in real life. All right, back to Missouri. We've got a Richelieu trying to come around the corner here. I am calibrating my guns that way. I think I have a okay angle, not a great angle. Again, because I don't think the armor of the Iowa class ships is that great. That being said, it doesn't look like he's aiming at me, so we are going to fire our first salvo here towards the Richelieu. All right, and we're backing up and turning a little bit. The Richelieu slowed down, so those shells don't have the impact that I quite hoped. I do want to mention I am using Azur Lane, New Jersey in the ship. For players that like long-range gunnery in their American ships, Azur Lane, New Jersey is the way to go. If you don't have Azur Lane, New Jersey, obviously Billy Sims would be my free-to-play choice for the ship. If there are other commanders, like anime commanders, I don't have them, so I don't know enough to know. All right, coming into the middle here, Atlantico. I know he was trying to get closer so he could use those secondaries, but unfortunately for him, we've got a destroyer over here, we got me over here, we've got a cruiser behind me, I want to say, 2 cruisers, and I think he is just outgunned, and going broadside certainly does not help. We are going to send another salvo. Really nice shell grouping. There is our first kill in Missouri, kill number 1. We are at 43,000 damage. You know, don't sail broadside, the bottom line. I know he thought he was making a good play there. He was making an extremely bad play. When you've got a bunch of ships aimed at you, don't go broadside. All right, Massachusetts running away. We're going to turn away from the Massachusetts right now. By the way, Massachusetts also a museum ship. I mean, I think Alabama also a museum ship. I mean, we got a lot of museum ships here in the American arsenal. All right, Charles Martel still out there. We're going to shoot at the mass. I would talk about the history of Missouri that I didn't talk about, but there's so much history here, it would take like an hour to read it all. So I'll just say, I know you thought you saw the Missourian Under Siege. Those scenes were actually filmed, most of them, on the USS Alabama. All right, and we'll go back there to say, Wow's Builds, damage record 284,021 by PG 2 years ago, and the base XP record 4,074 by A Krispy Kreme, also 2 years ago. So those are the damage and base XP records of Missouri. All right, we backed up a little bit. We are going to move forward to try to engage Richelieu. Since I swapped away, we haven't really been doing anything. Charles Martel's still out there. Shells coming in. We hazard a shot across our bow from Richelieu. We're going to start to turn in there. And we take out Charles Martel. Kill number 2. All right, we are willing to turn to the Massachusetts and aim towards the Richelieu. I am cognizant of the other destroyer, so I hit my radar. Again, kind of wasted. We didn't catch the destroyer. But that being said, I used my radar because I thought I needed to use it to prevent myself from being torpedoed. And in that case, I don't feel it was wasted. But yes, we did not spot any destroyers with our radar. There have been games where I caught the enemy destroyer with my radar and I had HE loaded and it was a good time. Unfortunately, he's just too far away, and that's fine. We're using the island to shield ourselves. We are moving in here on Richelieu. I'm ignoring Massachusetts and any other ships out there. We have a 1-ship lead in terms of kills and about a 40-point lead in terms of points. All right, Richelieu looks like he's doing this backing maneuver. We're going to send a full salvo his way. Damage, disable a turret. We're going to turn and put our bow towards the enemy. And you can see secondary starting to go off. I do not recommend a secondary build in Missouri, as you probably guessed. Because if I did, I would have mentioned the name Willis Lee. All right, he is still trying to back away. I know that there's a lot to get up here, so I'm just going to aim above the waterline to get the kill. There is the salvo. There is kill number 3. We're up to 68,990 damage. Moving in on, is that Miyoko? I can't read my own language. Good grief. All right, I'm hoving. Is that a word? Hoving? I'm hoving close to the island to avoid torpedoes. There is Miyoko, again doing the backing maneuver, which I never recommend. Really nice shell grouping there and a good hit. Miyoko also got hit by a teammate. He set me on fire, and we are going to turn just a little bit to the left. Here come the torpedoes. Didn't I say don't do a widespread? He did a widespread. And he got nothing for his trouble, nothing for me at least. All right, starting to speed up. We are going to increase our lead. Salvo number 2, again, really great shell grouping. There is a Citadel hit and kill number 4. All right, we're officially on the hunt for a Kraken in my ship, the Missouri. I went to school and graduated from the University of Missouri. Not that I'm bragging about that. I live in Missouri. I work in Missouri. Although I was not born in Missouri, I consider Missouri to be my home away from home. And doing well in this ship is important to me because I got pride. You know what I'm saying? And short of doing well in Missouri, as long as the Kansas has a bad game, except for that one match with Spartan, which I am going to link in the beginning of this video, 2 battleships wrecked the red team. Aside from the Kansas doing bad, that's the only other thing that's good besides Missouri doing good. All right, shooting at the Colorado. He was giving us a pretty good angle there. Then I noticed Massachusetts is out there, and I am giving the full broadside. I am going to turn away. I know this may seem odd, but I decided to turn away. I probably should have turned towards, but turning away allows us to field that salvo from Massachusetts and not take a ton of damage. Now, the Massachusetts just took a ton of damage. We're on fire. We're burning. The Massachusetts salvo doesn't appear to be doing a lot. We're going to shoot upwards, and I think I'm going to catch the Mass with those shells coming down into the superstructure. Another hit to Citadel, and there it is, the Kraken Unleashed, along with a high caliber medal. Here, I got greedy and thought I need to keep these turrets on target. What I should have done was kept turning away. We are going to be victimized here by Colorado. Right before I can get this reload, that is the death salvo. So, I mean, good game to him, I guess. All right, while we wait for the enemy team to kill Colorado, you know, there was another USS Missouri, by the way, BB-11, a Maine-class battleship. Remember the Maine? I sure do. All right, going here into WoW's builds, we're just going to take the stats as they give them to us. Hit points. Well, Flandre is number 1 at the tier, 75,400. Since they took the numbers away, Missouri is middle to bottom of the pack, 65,000. Lowest is Champaign, 57,100. Reload. The quickest reload is Odin. The longest reload is Kansas at 35 seconds. Missouri is 30 seconds. AP shell damage, Odin and Brandenburg is last with 9,400. Georgia, number 1, 15,750. Missouri, number 2, 13,500. Max speed, Champaign, number 1, 34 knots. Scrolling. Missouri is an even 30 knots. Sea detectability, Monarch is the least detectable, along with Roma at 14.5. Missouri, I think, is going to be more visible, and it is 15.4. That is your stat comparison. Here we are on the victory screen. High caliber medal, Kraken Unleashed medal, 143,432 total damage, 5 big kills, and a couple of Citadel hits. We ended up with 767,595 silver and some good ship XP and Commander XP numbers. 2 medals, 5 big kills, looks like 2237 base XP, leading the way for our team. Yes, when you play a capture the base match, you generally don't get great base XP numbers. All right, let's go into the port and take a look at the ship in terms of the upgrades. AA Guns Mod 2. Damage Control System Mod 2. Target Acquisition System Mod 1. And Artillery Plotting Room Mod 2, just the regular mod. All right, in terms of the loadout, just a couple of consumables, 3 charges of the repair party, 2 charges of the radar. It'd be nice if it was 3. 9.5 kilometer range. You could swap the radar for enhanced secondary targeting. Don't do that. The radar is what makes Missouri unique. That is why you should mount it. And I did pay full price for my Missouri, by the way. We are running all of the epic flags. As you can see here, Missouri deserves all the epic flags, including the epic battle booster for main battery range and movement speed. We got the Type 9 permanent camouflage and the Pearl Harbor 23 flag, where Missouri is anchored. All right, taking a look at the specs. 65,000 hit points and a 25% torpedo damage reduction with our build. We got those 3 triple 406mm turrets, 19.3 kilometer firing range, 30-second reload, 32.7-second turn time, HE shells 5,700 max damage with a 36% fire chance, AP shells 15,525 max damage. You do have 10 twin 127mm secondaries. Their firing range is 5 kilometers. Reload every 6 seconds. 1,800 max HE shell damage with a 5% fire chance. AA defense, your longest reaching AA is your dual purpose secondaries, which reach out to 6 kilometers. Your best secondaries, no shock here, 40mm Bofors, 318 damage per second. Maneuverability, 27.8 knots, 920 meter turning circle, 19.4 second rudder shift time with our build. So you might want to do some stuff if you don't like how slow and ungainly that appears. Concealment, 14.7 on the surface, 12.3 from the air, 14.9 when firing in smoke. Taking a look at the stats. We have a 67% winning percentage in Missouri. Main battery accuracy not great at 32%, but the shell grouping by and large looked pretty good in that match you just saw. Average DPM or kills per game or whatever, 1.3. The numbers you just see over here on the highest battle achievements, everything but the XP is from this game. I think that XP is from that linked match with Spartan Elite. So if you haven't checked that out, I encourage you to do so. Here in the armor viewer, well, we've got a below water citadel, and it's got a heavier plate on the side here, as you can see. From the top, not very heavily armored. Pretty standard 32mm bow, nothing special there. Turrets and barbettes. This is kind of an ideal turret profile in my opinion. You've got a heavily armored slanted turret face and a heavily armored barbette out of the casemate. This is the gold standard for turret armor in one man's opinion. All right, we're going to put the torpedo belt. It appears to go up rather high out of the water. We're going to take that back off and put the casemate armor back on. You can see an armor belt of up to over 300 millimeters there on the side. And then that's covered by the torpedo belt, which may offer some sort of spaced armor protection. But for an Iowa class, I think that's a really strong armor profile, and I like it. All right, here's our commander, Azer Lane, New Jersey. Freedom through firepower to the base trait. Main battery shells that travel over 10 km do 4.75% extra damage. We have Cunningham for shell grouping and Otto Ciliax for more AP shell damage. Flammable cannoneer in row 1, gyrating drill bits in row 2, firefighter in row 3. The unique skill, don't you just love it? Citadel strikes do 12.5% more damage. Main battery grouping is reduced, and fight fire with fire as our legendary skill. That is our review of the Tier 7 Premium Battleship Missouri. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe down below. I showed you a good game in the ship that's from the Show Me, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you. Thanks for watching, everybody.